All right. Well, look, talk to me about the heaven experience. What made you jump into the metaverse?
I'm not really jumping in. It's like it's something that we've been kind of planning for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time. It originally started out as a conversation about wanting to do um like a what do you call those things? Like a master class. You ever seen master
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Like I've been on this journey and I've been finding out a lot of stuff about myself. So one of the things that I noticed is how much fulfillment I get in like helping, like
Yeah.
mentoring. I like working with the younger guys um in a lot of different ways. Like you would think that a generation with so much information available to them would be just a little more enlightened, but they're
Hmm.
not. They're not. And it's I think it's a lot of reasons why, but mentorship not being enough mentorship not being in place, I think is one of those things. And it's starting to feel like a void that needs to be filled to me, as opposed to just kind of looking at it like, yo, it was the same way for us. I
Right.
wanted to be kind of different, so that's one of the reasons that I want to do it. And then I also um, been just looking at the landscape and just it feels like that's just the direction that things are going.
Right.
So I just want to kind of get out ahead of that as well. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's a fact.
yeah, it's not even like I was one of those guys that like when the internet started to become prominent, like I was one of those guys who like you had to like twist my arm to get me to even get a computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, and when I got a laptop and I finally started like going online, I regretted all those times where I felt like whoever I seen on the computer was being a nerd. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it was like the world was already headed in that direction, and I just decided, like that I was gonna do me instead of
Yeah.
keeping up with the times. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of like, okay, I see everything headed in this direction. Let me get out ahead of this. Let me
Hmm.
figure out things that I can do in this space without it feeling like I'm taking a deep dive. It's more like I'm dunking my toe in the water to
Right.
feel how cold it is, and I'm
Right.
about to jump in feet first. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Jump in feet first. I might just walk into the water, just
Right.
walk in, ease myself in, um, as I figure things out because I do my due diligence and my research and shit like that, but I can only come up with so much. I can only so many conversations I can have with people about it. It's only so many questions I can ask without me just having to kind of learn on
Yeah.
my own just by through trial and error. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then like my studio that I got here, we do so many things up here, and it ended up turning into such a like experience with Brandon, the studio,
Yeah.
that I just kind of looked at it like, you know what, man, I can do the same thing, in the metaverse. I can do the same thing.
Right.
Everything that I do here, everything, all the performances and the meetings, the usage of like conference rooms and
Yeah.
letting people book sessions virtually,
Right.
remotely. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do, because I just when I during the pandemic, I kind of got addicted to online shopping. And to me, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you're looking at everything online, you're looking at pictures of it, and then you click on sizes, you pick a size. Next thing you know, it's in your basket. Next thing you know, it's in your cart. Next thing you know, it's at your door. You know
Right.
what I mean? But it's
Right.
it's a it's a virtual experience nonetheless. So
That's a
just
fact.
imagine if you were shopping in full VR gear. It
Yeah.
would be the same thing. You would just be in it now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the world, the kind of world that I want to kind of create. Something that's just all access everything. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But it comes with something that you can pull from it, something tangible that you can pull from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's funny because I've been in the internet space for a long, long time, right? And it's like second nature. So
Really?
yeah, it's definitely like second nature. But I'll say this though, the metaverse is a little different. You know, that metaverse is like it's a little bit different because you're going into the you know you're going into another world almost. So you're not out there. Your senses aren't necessarily touching things the same way. Of course, with the way things are now, it can seem like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? It can feel that way. So at a point, at some point, we may not know the difference. You know what I mean?
What about strip clubs?
Bruh, I think they're gonna find a way for
I,
the
lo- I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see them figure this shit out. It's not possible. I don't think it's possible.
you might have to buy some extra things, but yeah, I think they're gonna
Yeah, man, you're gonna have to have a hell of an imagination.
yo, I don't know. So wait. If somebody can what if you taught somebody helped you with this experience? What if they say, yo, Royce, we can add a strip club on the sidewalk over here, and you walk into the strip club experience. You gotta buy Susie the android, cost you
Right.
$1,000.
Yeah. The Android lap dance.
Yeah, the android the android lap dance, and then you get another experience. In a couple, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. It's definitely doable. I just know you use the word your senses. So I mean, you can't touch her, can't physically touch her, and you can't smell her. Like that's
Yeah,
not possible through AI.
but they can the okay, so everything's up here, right? Everything's up here. Even your sense of smell is here.
Right.
I don't know how they would do it, but they can probably simulate even you thinking you smelling something. I think that's what I
Ooh,
think.
that's spooky.
It is
That's
spooky. It's definitely spooky. But it's just 10 years. I give it five. I give it 5 years. Five, maybe 10.
that's
Because
spooky. But hearing that Jay-Z verse on that one thing, that's spooky too.
yeah, I,
Hmm.
look, I wanted to talk to you about that. I wasn't going straight to it, but yeah, you know, I'm wondering, do you feel those type of concerns with AI Jay Z? I was impressed by AI Jay Z. I'm not gonna lie. I
Me
was
too.
like, Hov ain't gave us an album in what 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Um,
do you think about it?
I think it's interesting. I think I'm open to seeing exactly what's going to start to come from having this tool. I think it's going to be either a tool or a weapon, depending on how you use it. And it's one of
Uh-huh.
those things where you don't get to choose to play in the game or not. You're just
Right.
in it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, so I think those who accept it as that and kind of can take it and just start trying to make adjustments to it,
Uh-huh.
I think we'll be the ones who will be in the best space later on down the line. But it's here, it's coming. You know what I mean? So it's like, um, but just like with anything that can be a tool online, it can also be used as a weapon. You know,
Yeah.
I seen something where you there were people who were getting like phone calls, like a lady would get like a phone call, and it would be somebody on the other line saying that they have her daughter or her son, and
Yeah.
they want like ransom money, but then they'll put her on the phone with who she thinks is her daughter. Like, mommy,
Right.
please come money, and
Right.
it'll be something small like $500. So
Yeah.
they'll just give it up, just in the state of panic, and come to find out it was just you were just talking to AI.
Right. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
man he was just telling me about this. He was installing my
This happened in
plugins.
real life.
Yes, he was
Uh,
he was installing my plugins up here in my studio the night before last, and he said he knows 3 people who got that call so far. 3 people. So yeah, it's definitely creative usages of it in an evil way. So that's the
right.
that's the downside to it. The upside to it is we got a pretty dope what sound like a Jay-Z verse, which is funny because it's like we know that's not Hove. It's not good enough to be Hove.
Right.
I can tell the difference. I
Yeah.
just think it's funny. It's interesting,
Yeah.
so it may irritate Hove a little bit, but I think they're gonna change the laws around. They're gonna figure out some stuff to put in place that'll protect hopefully artists from hopefully we won't have to trademark our voices.
Might have to, man. You know, what Ice-T has a thing where he's a partner in a company where he's already replicated his voice. Bruce Willis, he's allowed them to use his voice, I mean, excuse me, his likeness in future movies, because now they can age you, de-age you, they can use CGI to make you human. Like they can put a skin on my face and I could be Bruce Willis,
Right.
with those little, those little dots they put on you. But as far as music is concerned, it seems like Jay or even Ice-T, like you can live forever almost because they're just they're already doing it with Big and um Easy E, Big. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't heard Pac though.
They got full shows in the metaverse, right?
Yeah.
I heard about that too.
Yeah, I didn't see the big one, but it was
I heard about the big one.
yeah, I heard about it. I
Crazy.
couldn't do it, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
you
wonder
think
are the youngins that interested in it? That interested in Biggie? So would that be for us?
yeah, it's not for them. I don't think it's not for them. I mean, I didn't they into the Travis Scott though. Did you see what he did a few years ago? He broke the internet. So but that was creative though. That was
That,
different.
that was interesting, to say the
Yeah,
least.
very
That was
interesting.
interesting.
So do you think in the future you might expand into those type of offerings? I know a lot of this is what you're offering now is more service. You like you said, mentorship.
Yeah,
Uh,
what I'm doing is a little bit more of a community based build.
mm,
I want to build a community of people where you feel like you're a part of something that where there's a sense of fellowship and like-mindedness. So I want to create an environment where people can come and it not even just be about me all the time, where it's a safe place to come interact and get share and receive information.
yeah.
You know, um, be a part of really super exclusive cool shit that if you get access to first, then you feel welcomed. You know what I mean? Like I just look at the way that we all interact online, and it's just like, man, like that's where trolling came from. Trolling came from somebody feeling like they're not a part of something,
Yeah.
or they're not getting like they're getting lost in the sauce in messages. Or you don't respond back when I say nice shit. Oh, I got to say fucked up shit to get your attention. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think I think that initial thought is what sparked trolling. You know what I mean? Not being
Yeah.
able to cut through, cut through the noise. I'm just trying to alleviate the noise and
Right.
just kind of like give myself a center. You know what I mean? Where people can come and everybody can just be right there in the center of
Right.
our own little noise. Because
Right.
that's what Clubhouse is. That's what what's the other thing that they Reddit. That's what fucking what's the other one?
Oh, Clubhouse, the app. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like people go from one thing to the other, whatever's new, and they try to be the first to jump on that. But the people who create those atmospheres, um, a creator like myself, I love Clubhouse when I first heard of it. So when I got on there before it was all structured like it is now, um, I liked it because I can create my own room.
Yeah.
I curate the conversation, and then I'm in complete control. It's just functionality wise and like space wise and aesthetically, whoever created that for us didn't have as much of a grasp on us
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
from an aesthetic standpoint. You know what I mean? So like I don't think people realize how important that is to us because the people who are designing these things, it's more tech based. It's a more
Mm-hmm.
a tech based kind of agenda. So like nobody's gonna come in here and design my studio with me in mind
Right.
unless it's somebody who is specifically hired to do it based off of the wants and desires and the needs of the creator. So like that's one of the things about my studio that other creators that I know love so much is they feel the vibe in here. Like people don't realize how important the vibe is.
Yeah.
So it's just like creators feel at home because it's like beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
Everything from like the way everything, where everything is, the colors of everything. It just feels like it's for us. You know,
Yeah.
it makes you not look at the clock. Like, what do I got to do in an hour? It makes you just feel like, all right, I'm here now. So maybe I'll create something. And
Yeah.
this is where all the ill talks happen. Like my son being here with his crew, Proof son being here. It's like we like a little family, but it's like we talk about everything. Like
Right.
they come to me about everything. And I'll sit and tell stories, talk to them for hours just about shit that I've been through in the music business because they getting into the business.
Yeah.
They got people offering them deals and they be running contracts by me and all type of shit. And I just be thinking to myself, like, damn, I wish I had this. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish I had this when I was your age.
Right.
When
What's
when I was their age, it was pressure. That's all it was.
you said
It wasn't
depression?
pressure. Pressure.
Pressure. Pressure.
That's it. Yep. No mentorship.
What is Proof Son up to? Is he rapping?
Yeah. Yeah. He's rapping very well. His name is Nassan. His name was Nassan. If you looked up one of his videos, you would probably, I'm willing to bet that you probably seen him before, just didn't know that was him you was looking at.
And
Because
they
they don't run with he's not running with that.
got it.
He's not identifying out there as Proof Son.
Right.
That's something that you had to find that out by talking to him. But he doesn't like he doesn't use that in any way. It's like a means to get your attention to his music or anything like that. They want to stand on their own.
Yeah.
They want to get it, they want to come to as close as getting it out of the mud as being the sons of two Detroit staples as possible. You know what I'm saying?
What's the man? Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I get it. My daughter is,
For now.
huh?
That's it's for now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I'm
they're
like,
gonna
but
get in.
but but we didn't work this hard for y'all to just try to get it out the mud. You know
I
what I mean?
went I, I went through that. I went through that right there. I went through that in my mind some years back. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to process. But
Right.
like parenting is like that, man. It takes a lot of understanding for things to start materializing itself in a way that you didn't picture.
Right.
It's hard to accept that sometimes.
Yeah.
But and then as an artist, it's hard to be accepting of that without getting your emotions too involved in it. You know,
Right.
like they see the world how they see the world, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start stepping on shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just start stepping on stuff. I understand how that process is, and I have no idea what it's like to have to go to school as somebody's child. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what that feels like. So it's like I can't really fault him, you know what I mean? But I do notice his level of comfort increasing as he gets older. I think it's just that same journey and path that we all are on, trying to find ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
your
not
son
gonna.
and his son and Proof's son, y'all they rap together or they just friends and they rap?
Yeah, they're friends. They do music together. My son sings. He's a singer.
Okay.
Proof son is a rapper, but yeah, they real tight. They real tight.
That's
They
dope.
real tight. They do music and shit together, but they got like a little crew. It's the whole crew of them. They
Okay.
all a bunch of little ill motherfuckers, singers, producers, rappers. They got like a whole collective.
That's
It's fun to watch.
yeah, that's good to hear. Cause old heads, and I'm not saying you're an old head, but I'm feeling like one. You know, I looked at the Summer Jam lineup just recently, and I was like, wow, there's nothing really there for me. And now Charlie Mack, Will Smith's old bodyguard, got a show in AC Atlantic City, and I'm like, wow, that's more what I should be at.
Really?
I mean,
Who
kind of,
who'd you
sort of.
see? Who'd you
Huh?
see on the line at Summer Jam?
Well, Cardi B is the most recognizable person to me. I mean, I'm tapped
Right.
in with some of those artists, Lola Brooke and stuff like that. But it's just super. It's very young artists, man. So I mean,
Right.
when you say to me EPMD, for me, if you say, oh yeah, EPMD is gonna be somewhere, my ears are gonna perk up. If you say
Right.
Redman, I'm gonna be like, oh, meth. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But if you say, Lil such and such, I'll be like, yeah, 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 so
Right.
much. By the
You
same
find it.
token, there's a lot
Do
of
you
young artists that are dope though.
do you find it it's harder for you to make a connection to the younger artists the more generations turn over? Did it used to be a little easier for you to connect to them than it is now?
Well,
You saying?
not really, not really. I'm not so I don't have to be a fan to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now I can talk to them a little differently than I will. So if I interview Lil Kim, I'm gonna talk to her one way. If I interview Dream Doll, I'm gonna talk to her a little bit like maybe like a older brother or a damn
Right.
shit, maybe a father. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we had like one of those type of conversations, and she's like, I'm like, yo, you don't really need to do all that. You actually beautiful, like you as you are. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
don't know if that works or if that helps at all. You know what I mean? But it's a different lens that you see things, and so I don't think that I don't. So I'll put it to you like this: I stay tapped in, but I do have a cousin who's 20, and he's like, I'll be like, yo, what about this one? And he'll give me questions from the music that I can ask sometimes. You know what I mean? But I'm not. I don't have all the I don't have all the questions from each song. Like if you ask me about Redman, I'm gonna say, hey Redman, man, when you said don't puff or sniff it because I was born with it, yo, that hit me. That hit me right here because I didn't smoke or drink.
Right.
So we just ill. So anyway, yeah.
Right.
So but nah, man. So do you feel like the is this directed for young people? Is this because I mean, be real, all older gods or whatever you call us are not necessarily all the way tapped into the metaverse.
Yeah, well, it's directed at whoever wants to be, whoever wants to be a part of it. And I think the less information that you have going into
Mm-hmm.
the better the experience will be for you. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I think if you are older and you really don't know that much about the metaverse, um, I think this would be a great place for you to go into to learn what
right.
it is, to get a better idea, understanding of what it is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm expecting a lot of people who are already kind of knowledgeable, which would automatically make them a little younger. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But I wouldn't say that that's the target. It's just I think that's kind of just what it is right now. Like when you speak about the metaverse, you're basically talking about people who just get it already. Like so. Um, but I think that somebody like myself, the era that I, for the most part, represent, um, if it's me, if it's me, or and I hear about somebody that's more in my peer group doing it, I'm a little more interested than if it was a different way.
yeah.
So the target is just humans.
Right, right.
I
Um,
mean, human-minded humans.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You also dropped new music with a EP to match this rollout.
Hmm.
How does it feel to be back? It's been what 3 years or so since you.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels good. I mean, the music is just a byproduct. It's just a byproduct of the experience. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Um, I've been releasing music for 20 plus years, so it's like I'm more so there's a level of due diligence that I'm doing right now. Um,
Mhm.
like I'm taking more comfortable steps into the future while
Mhm.
I'm figuring things out. And musically, I can give you that however you want it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even a challenge anymore. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of like I got music sitting around, I got ideas, I record all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like it's turning into the same old song and dance to me. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Right.
How to make it how to make it fun and not feel like work is what the challenge is. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my feelings on it. To answer your question, it's my
Right.
feeling. I feel that's how I feel about the music at the moment. You know, but I kind of feel like that about music in general as a fan. As a
Right.
fan, I don't have the same attachment to it because um, I feel like everything is becoming niche. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that the gray area that used to be there is kind of gone now. So I feel like you got either mainstream or
Mhm.
you have niche in every category that you can think so. And it's turning into people just focusing on their demographic and they're doing it strictly for them. So
Right.
like you could be a huge star and it be in your own world. It
Right.
used to be like that. Like when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, probably the last physical copy sold album of that magnitude,
Right.
you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
Stop at a red light, you
Right.
hear it in somebody's car. You go to the mall, it's playing out of a different song off the album is playing out of every store,
Yeah.
all over the radio, all over everything. Like you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
Now it's like now that people can kind of curate their own lives.
Yeah.
You could be huge and somebody would have never heard none of your songs
Yeah.
if they didn't go and decide to engage in your universe.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that the world is turning. You know what I mean? So and with that being said, that it's kind of changing my experience as a fan a little bit, along with what you just said too, that you're going through. As
Right.
I get older, as I get older, there's certain shit that I just don't want to hear.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I don't want to sit and listen to shoot 'em up rap all day.
Right. Right.
I'm still a
Exactly.
fan. Still a fan of it.
Right.
I'm still a fan of it. I just can't sit and listen to it all the time. I can't let it be a part of my day.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't be productive like that.
And the other
But
thing is, go ahead. I ain't mean cut you off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you know, it's a necessary ignorance. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I like to have my ignorance in doses. I like to be able to control the doses.
Right.
I don't want to OD on ignorance.
Well, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, we Lil Kim is the prototype for all the chicks we see here right now, right? But
Mm.
still, Lil Kim still had a song like Diamonds in it wasn't like every song, right? I mean, I don't know if they have every song that's ratchet. They might actually have those other songs, right? But we're not necessarily listening to all of the songs now. Same with the rappers. They might actually have some thought-provoking stuff, but it's not like you go to buy a whole album and you listen to the whole thing. You
Mm-hmm.
actually you actually get served up, through algorithms, what is most popular or whatever. You know what I mean? If you even get an algorithm that gives you that. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't even get it. I
Right.
all I get is Griselda and Freddie Gibbs. I don't know, that type rap.
Right.
Meanwhile, something I don't know, something popular or whatever is going to the top of the charts. It doesn't even come to me. Like it
Right.
does. Like my algorithm doesn't even say, "Yo, your album didn't even come," which is crazy. I'm like, what is going on? I didn't even know. My homeboy told me about it. I was like, what is going? So I
Which
hate
one?
it.
They have an experience?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on
Yeah.
Spotify. So I keep it a buck. I'm on Spotify. So I'm like, what the hell? I mean, maybe it's because it's been a minute. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
usually it'll say,
I was talking to somebody today about that. You know, my man Mitch up at the Orchard, he was kind of like enlightening me on the way that the algorithm works. I've
uh-huh,
had so many conversations with people about it. He basically was telling me like the key to the algorithm is not to take breaks, a lot of breaks. You know, you take a break for a week and you are back at square one. So
right?
like consistency is key. It's key. So I
Oh
mean,
my God. And
I feel
and,
like
and high
I feel
levels
like
consistency, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not my
I've
bad.
been I've been taking a lot of breaks. You know, like I like breaks. I need breaks. You know what I mean? But I make sure that I express to my sons how important it is for them not to take breaks. You know, it's just like consistency and volume are more the caveat than quality. So when we used to talk about our output, we always that was never parallel with quality for us. So it would be like at some point we kind of like separated the two, and you either get high output,
Right.
you either get great quality when we get it to, or you get a high output of music where the quality has to take a hit, one or the other. You know
Right.
what I mean? So now the ones now who are like in the front runners, they have both. They figured out how to just run concurrent quality and great output. That's Drake. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, and then the ones who just a lot of output but not that great of quality, they come and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Output the output doesn't last, but they get people's attention and people are talking about them and people think that they're big. And the next thing you know, couple days, couple days of being out of the conversation, and they can't get back in the conversation because the quality is not there.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's a it's an interesting it's an interesting thing that you're up against just with the algorithm being such a huge part of the conversation now.
yeah, there's a stat, and that's important, but like 30 million songs got released last year that didn't get played one time on Spotify or something. So it's important to have a presence, you know what I mean? Like, some kind of presence.
How's that possible? How's that possible?
It mean, I know what it is this is what happens. I believe this is what I believe happens.
Mm.
People are secret artists, right? They want to do music, but they don't want to feel the pain. This is my opinion. Like, this is totally my opinion. They want to do something, but they don't want to feel the rejection or the pain of people not liking it, like their family or whatever. So I think
Mm.
they drop something and hope it catches on, like what's his name, Lil Nas X or something like that. And they don't tell anybody, basically. But the thing is though, they don't even listen to it themselves. They don't buy PR. They do
That's why
nothing.
that's why I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. I believe it's trolling on some level. Somebody trying to get some attention. Because who would leave their shit on zero?
Right. You would at least play it yourself.
You would go play it yourself just to make sure it ain't on. Like being on zero is like a cry for attention. That's like a big man. Like you on Spotify, you on zero. That's like, please pay attention to me, everybody. Look, I'm on zero. You know what I mean? I didn't even listen to myself. You know, that's why I feel like it's trolling. It's like that's not even possible.
It's a crazy stat. I don't
You
know.
got to listen to it. You got to listen to it. You recorded it. You
You
got
would
to
have to
listen to it.
listen to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stat, but I can't find it right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is crazy, but it's the access is so easy now, though. So it
yeah,
bothers me that it's so easy. It's not easy, but it is, the barriers to entry are pretty gone on every level, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like, you know how it is, how hard it is to climb to the top, and or even experience some ups and downs. Do you ever feel like you wish maybe you were born in a different era, or like were able to, you know, be able to participate a little more in the current day? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
um,
I go back and forth a lot.
yeah,
You know, because there were perks to being a part of physical copies being sold. There were perks there. You know, we had a lot of fun too because when I first started signing record deals, I mean, I was dealing with way bigger budgets
yeah,
because things were way more expensive. It cost more. You know,
yeah,
we had physical 2-inch tapes. Um, I watched the Pro Tools era kind of like take form, the whole digital era going from analog to digital. Um, I had the pleasure of being able to learn both analog and digital, and then use software to run both analog and digital, and
Oh,
being a part of both. You know, I rode with Maxell tapes with a demo on it.
right.
I rode with CDs with a demo on it. I've had thumb drives.
Yeah.
Like there were things about each era that that I loved.
Yeah.
Um, the only time I've ever been like, damn, I wish I had the same opportunities y'all have. It's like the computer generation, the fully functional internet era.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what torrent just kind of went crazy. You know what I mean? And it's like when I first came around, like you had to have a record deal. That was the only way that you could cut through. That was the only way that the world knew about you. You had to be on the radio. Like there was a lot of you had to be's. So, when you had to be's, it puts you in a situation of compromise as an artist where you have to fit into some spaces in order to get heard and recognized. So I
Right.
find myself in situations where I'm rapping for A&Rs in their office with my shirt off, rapping. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when Bobby Schmurda was like on the table up at the office and performing, and everybody was laughing at him online, I didn't laugh because I was like, yo, that was me.
Yeah. Right.
I was me. I was that kid. I was that kid right there, except I didn't have a hit record. I
Yeah.
didn't have a name. You know what I mean? So I didn't like how that felt, even though I was blessed enough to get a record deal a couple times. You know what I mean? So once the internet kind of took over, it's like that's kind of like your gateway to the world, the whole world. You never need to travel or talk to a record executive ever.
Yeah.
If you don't choose, you can do it all yourself, and then create your own leverage. Once you have metrics, to stand by your belief in yourself and shit, you pretty much writing your own check, writing and signing your own check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of wish I had that. I was at that kind of opportunity to function that way.
Yeah.
Then my journey wouldn't have been so contingent upon, who was fucking with me in the industry and who was,
Mm-hmm.
because I went through a lot of that. I went through a lot of years of that. Like when me and Marshall wasn't talking, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot of people who just wasn't fucking with me just because of that. You know what I mean? So it's like the game's kind of always been that way. So when you got like a vehicle, you don't have to even think about that type of shit. So there was times where I thought about that, like, man, I wish I could have, if I'd have came out during the emergence of that, we'd have been having a whole different conversation. A
Yeah.
whole different
And it's crazy too, because you mentioned something that made me think about 6ix9ine. And 6ix9ine, he's blackballed from hip hop, but he dropped a Latino record the other day, and I didn't, I don't go looking for 6ix9ine, and it's like a hit record already. It's like an instant hit, So you don't need labels, and you don't even have to be in cool with people no more. Like,
yeah.
you know, it,
Yeah,
it,
I don't think
this is after getting beat up, which means usually that means you're done.
I don't think the only way somebody can be blackballed from hip hop is if black people
Right,
blackball you, and we
right,
don't blackball.
right.
We just don't. We don't.
Yeah,
There's not. We've never stood in solidarity on anything. So I
yeah,
don't feel like I don't. There's always one. Oh
right,
man, fuck that shit. I ain't fuck that shit. I'm my own. You know what I mean? Like we the
right.
only ones with power to do it.
Yeah,
So I don't think that I don't see that ever happening. Black people blackballing or putting anybody out of business or any. I don't see that happening. But
yeah. I
we
know.
are the power to do so in that culture. Like if black people don't fuck with you, then your cool card is revoked. Period. You
Right.
can't be cool without our stamp,
You
in
know
my
that
opinion.
that makes me think of something, and I'm really not trying to, create a moment here, but I think about you as it relates to DJ Vlad, and he's now doing a ton of interviews again. And you know, I don't even it's weird. I'll just say it's weird. There was a moment where, he spoke out against the minister, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and
Mhm.
we had problems with that, and then all of a sudden it kind of just disappeared. And I think I know why. I believe folks are getting money. He's paying people quite a bit of
Smart
money.
man.
Huh?
Smart man.
Yeah, yeah.
When I
So,
say smart, I mean you.
hmm?
I say when I say smart man, I mean you, not Vlad.
Oh, oh.
That, that,
What?
that,
What
that
makes
was
you?
a great guess.
Right. You were. Yeah. Well.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. I mean, so it kind of proves my point.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing that now, you could have been doing it. You could have been paying. You could have been paying people.
Yeah.
But now you have to pay people. So it's like black people need to look at that and say, is this what we want for ourselves? You know what I mean? Like it proves everything that I've been saying. You'd rather pay people than to just apologize for something you admitted that you did wrong.
Right.
That's zero respect. And people will disrespect you if you keep allowing them to. It's not Vlad's fault, right? No more anymore.
Yeah.
It's already been put on him.
Right.
Anything moving forward now is just self-inflicted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This kid that just lost his life who went on Vlad's platform, I don't blame Vlad for that. It's like at this point, it's like y'all kind of see it for what it is, and more as things keep on happening, like more and more people I think are starting to become a little bit more aware and
Uh-huh.
coming into consciousness, and I'm just kind of watching it unfold. But it's nothing to blow the whistle about. It's in your face. Some people are choosing to see it for what it is, and some people are still refusing to look at it.
Yeah.
Especially if you offer somebody some money. A lot of people think that they're here to just get money. That's their role in the community, to be here and get money.
Right.
You
Right.
know, me, I personally think it's not about any individual. I think everybody has to do their part. You got to roll up your sleeves and do your part. You got to be willing to sacrifice some things in order to keep contributing to the greater good of something that's been so good to all of us, no matter what color you are. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just
Last point.
don't
Huh?
think this is every man for themselves kind of environment anymore. You know, I don't think that the environment can thrive if there's too many people in the forefront with that kind of mentality. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you. It's funny, and this is my last point. I was all hyped up for that Ti and Boosie album, and then
Mm-hmm.
Boosie did a damn Vlad interview. I was like, it's like, damn you. I was like, really? Like, are we? Anyway, that's all. I don't want to go all into it. I'm just saying. I was looking forward to that album. You know, Tip
Maybe
is,
it'll happen. Maybe
huh?
it'll happen.
Maybe
Maybe
it.
it'll happen. Didn't they record it?
Yeah, they recorded
It
it.
was
I don't
done,
know,
right?
huh?
It was done already, right?
Yeah, it's done. It's in the can. Hopefully they fix it, man. Because I was like, come on, guys, like, what are we doing now? Anyway, all right. So let me wrap up here a little bit. But let me ask you this: what was your first computer?
MacBook,
So you never had a desktop computer. You just went straight to laptop.
straight to laptop in the backpack.
Laptop to backpack. All right.
My space.
MySpace?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think a
I came
laptop was
in.
the last thing I had. What'd you say?
I came right in right after Black Planet. I just missed Planet.
Oh, see, you messed up. You
I
missed
came
Black Planet.
yep, I went straight to MySpace.
Okay, all right. What was your first online? So you never had AOL. So you were where did you go to? Did you just I don't even remember what was after AOL. I can't
When you
remember.
say AOL, what do you mean? Like the chat?
Well, how'd you get online? I guess back then it was just Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Yeah, just regular
yeah.
Wi-Fi. Um,
For a hard line to plug into my computer though. I used
right,
to look for yeah, yeah,
right, right. What hotels used to have like a
yeah,
actual yeah, yeah.
hard line, yeah.
So I used to have
But
big
I didn't go to college or anything. So, I think if I had went to college, I would have been a little earlier. But
gotcha. Yeah.
I took a typing class when I was in high school and I hated it. So I always associate typing with the online experience. I've seen plenty of people go online. Remember, I was on the first Grand Theft Auto that you seen. I was on that.
Okay.
You know,
Got you.
the
Got
first
you.
Grand Theft Auto that you seen, I was on. I was on that, and that was the first that was the first experience that I seen. Grand Theft Auto was like the first experience that I seen that gave me the feel of like a server. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's ill when I see like people playing those games like on Twitch and shit like that, but they had their own servers and they
Right.
able to all of the mods and everything, and like they able to design all their cars and like put on their own outfits and basically build their own world within
Yeah.
world. They got the mansions, they hire somebody to come mod everything. You know what I mean? So and it's just them in the server. It's just them in their own little world, standing in the studio together. Niggas got choppers and money, and it just looked fun. It just looked fun as hell. You know what I mean? Like if I had that, I would have been all over video games, all over it.
Now wait a sec. Are those people nerds or are they cool?
All right, they cool. T Grizzly and them niggas.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. I mean,
Um,
but we all been nerds. Everybody's just getting comfortable. Since Tyler the Creator and Pharrell and Ye, like now everybody comfortable to admit that they nerds.
yeah, 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 that's what's up.
Hey, everybody nerd out to something.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fact. What's your
We
favorite?
nerd out. We nerd out to boxing. With boxing.
Oh yeah,
Me and
hell
you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a fact. They got me good on April Fools though. They said Spence and Crawford were gonna fight. I got it the day or two after the after April Fools
Yeah.
though. Crawford said
It's
so.
to a point now where I get that kind of shit in my boxing threads in my text threads on my phone. And whenever I see Spence Crawford, I never even respond.
Right. Yeah,
Never
yeah,
even respond. It's one of them things where it's like, yo, I believe it when I see it.
right.
And
Yeah,
then when I didn't respond, like a couple hours later, that's when I seen the Crawford tweet. Must be April Fools. I'm
yeah,
like, see,
yeah,
see, it's
yeah.
so frustrating. That's such a frustrating. That's a whole nother conversation, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Don't even don't let's hold that off for another time. But I am looking forward to Tank. I ain't gonna lie. I'm going with Tank. Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
Of course,
yeah, of
that
course.
boy. I like Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's
I,
cool.
I think he's a pretty good fighter. He's slick as hell.
Yeah,
He's slick as hell. But Tank is just
he's
it's
different.
levels, man. It's levels. He on a different level. You know what I mean? Like and everything about Ryan as far as him lacking experience, all of those things are gonna come out. They're gonna be right in front of you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're gonna be able to see. It's gonna be right in the forefront, like how much he lacks experience, and he hasn't fought enough quality fighters to be in there and give somebody like Tank
wow.
even a even a little bit of a hard time. I think the only thing really to worry about is just that hook. That's
Right.
really it.
Yeah, true.
That's not enough.
Right.
That's
Not
enough.
definitely
Because
not.
if you can't land that, then you fool.
Yeah.
You fool. It's over with.
It's a necessary fight for the sport though, because we losing people. We losing people.
I
Yeah.
think Ryan has done a great job of marketing himself though to
Yeah.
make this fight super valuable. You know what I mean? Like I love how overrated he is because that's what's making this fight so valuable, and it's great. Tank get to get a big dog check for fighting somebody who's not a big dog.
Yeah. Nah,
I
that's
love it.
yeah, that's a fact. When you did, let me ask you about albums. Allegory, you got nominated with Allegory, right?
Yep. You
And
talking about
Book of,
Grammy?
yeah, the Grammy and
Yeah.
Book of Ryan. Does that take a lot out of you? Uh, emotionally, like those are different type of albums. Um, did you feel were you exhausted or were you like whenever someone takes a long break, like I feel I know why Jay takes a long break. I don't want to assume right here on the interview here, but with you, it almost feels like it took a lot out of you. I don't want to assume, but is that
Well, Book
why?
of Ryan. Book of Ryan, that's the album. I'm glad you asked me this question. That's the album that I made for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening with that was something happened. Something there was a discrepancy with submitting it, and it didn't end up getting submitted.
Okay.
So that's why it didn't get nominated because we didn't submit it. So
Mm-hmm.
but I was under the impression that it was gonna get submitted, and something happened. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere. I try not to even revisit that. But allegory, allegory was like, okay, we learned our lesson with Book of Ryan. You know, we're gonna just submit this one, not even thinking anything of it, and then it got nominated, which kind of like solidified our feelings that we had about Book of Ryan.
Right.
You know, like, okay, well, yeah, if that one would have got submitted right, then we would, that's the one where I would have been expecting to win. You know what I mean? Like this one, I didn't expect to get nominated. So when I got nominated, it was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy. You know what I mean? Like I appreciated being nominated, but I wasn't really like tripping over not winning. But I really that process though, it really makes me reflect. You know what I mean? Like on the whole Book of Ryan experience, because I feel like that's my one album that I have. It's not meant to be topped. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was meant to be self-defining. You know what I mean? I think every artist should have that one self-defining, and it shouldn't be topped. You
Right.
shouldn't be able to top
Right.
it. You know, I mean, even I feel like I'm a better artist today than I was then, but still, even as a better artist, you shouldn't be able to top it. You know what I mean? So, because it's only one way to introduce yourself and describe yourself, and that's it. Once that happens, you don't go back to the reintroduction. That introduction is the introduction. That's what brought everybody in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of look at it in that way. And as far in terms of taking a break, it wasn't necessarily that process itself, but I did reach a point where I needed a break, and I think it was the pandemic had a lot to do with it, and I went through a lot of stuff like back to back to back to back to back to back in a row, and
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot just about being. I learned a lot about myself and sobriety. I
Yeah.
learned a lot about myself in relationships, attempting to build relationships. I learned a lot about the fans as well, like a lot of ways that the fans view us and what they expect out of us at
Mm-hmm.
our expense. You know what I mean? And just the way that people have more of a desire to be entertained than they do to see unity, and like the things that people fuel and instigate. And me as an artist, understanding how the internet sort of works, and understanding how to break through that language barrier, and translate who I truly am without allowing certain things to get me off my square, because you're basically dealing with real life shit in real time in the public eye. You know what I mean? So there's really no room for error. All you can do is make mistakes and look at it in retrospect and say, "Ah, fuck, I wish I hadn't fucking, played into that, or I wish I hadn't responded that way, or I wish I hadn't, like it was just a few different times where I just kind of looked up and was like, oh, okay, I'm a part of something right now that I don't want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, okay. Oh, I allow myself to be dragged into that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
noted for next time. And
Right.
a couple of things like that happened in a row. And for
Yeah.
me, it was just, you know what? Y'all forget about me for a minute. Let me go over here. Y'all forget about me for a minute. Let me go over here and just get myself in control of my emotions, so I'm not like upset, because I don't like being upset. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that there's a whole lot in this shit that's going on that's happening that's worth you allowing yourself to be upset. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I think if you start to project onto others what you are and expecting that, like you're gonna get let down every time, because you do things your unique way. You don't do it because that's just the way to do it. You do it your unique way, whatever you believe in, whatever you stand for. If you thrive around only like-minded individuals, fine. If you thrive around a mixture of different kinds of people because you need to learn it, I mean, I think the fun thing is just figuring that out, figuring out who to align yourself with, who to do business with, The only thing about that is, it's moving parts. Everything's moving. Everybody's moving in different directions. So, you can be on the same page with somebody at one moment, and then you look up a couple years later and you're dealing with a completely different person. And how to make that adjustment is all in how you perceive things. Your ability to be able to see the positive in things and not so much focus on the negative, and understanding that things are gonna happen, but how you react to them is what's gonna determine where it's gonna go. You know what I mean? And that's ultimately what's gonna determine your happiness or not.
Right.
So I just realized that, being offended, upset, a lot of that shit is a choice. You know what I mean? Like, there was moments where I was just like, I found myself like just wanting people to know that I'm right. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy. I
Right.
think healthy, I think healthy is not necessarily being right, but healthy is being okay if people don't believe you. You got to see, that's the key that
Yeah.
I'm finding is I got to let myself off the hook sometimes. I got to figure out ways to let myself off the hook and be okay with people believing a lie
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being okay with that. Because, like growing up the way that we grew up, man, like, our name's everything. My name is my name. My reputation is everything. I don't like people playing with my name. I just
Yeah.
don't like it. But I think that you give people more of an opportunity to do so when you let them drag you down to a certain energy, and and I'm learning a lot about myself and sobriety is because I was just kind of looking at everything and I realized that you can not drink and dry out, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, you didn't have a drink, but are you sober? Because sober is also, you can also have behavioral relapses. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if I relapse into a lot of my old behaviors and my old mentalities, what difference does it make? I might as well go have a drink.
Yeah. Yeah. I never thought of that. Right.
It's a lot, it's a lot of self-policing that comes along with it. You can't just stop drinking and then just expect everything to just be, you know what I mean? Like, you got to work on it. You got to take steps to become better. You got to create a vision, a picture in your mind of what you aspire to be just as a human and
Right.
start taking those steps. So, if you still guarding something reputation that you created when you were a kid, then sometimes it might require for you to engage in some of the activity that got you that reputation, which will
Mm.
take you back to the level you were on when you were that age.
Right.
So it's almost like it's going to cost you the old you to become the new you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we want to have it both ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So being able to having the strength and the mental wherewithal and the fucking testicular fortitude to be able to let go of some of that ego driven
Mm.
energy is tough sometimes, especially if it's in front of people.
Yeah.
But like, it's something about like just you can change your mind.
Yeah.
You can feel one way. You can feel one way and then be like, you know what? I don't like this. I
Right.
changed my mind.
Right.
Like, you can do it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because I don't think that you up against time or you up against anything other than just yourself.
Right.
Like, so if you lie to yourself and tell yourself that you gotta go with things that your gut is telling you, nah, this ain't this, you going the wrong direction. You got to turn the car around, otherwise you're gonna crash.
Right.
I'm not trying to crash out. You know what I mean? Like, I love to be able to kind of observe situations, and even if I contributed to getting it where it's at, which, without being able to find that accountability, that you won't be able to make the observation. So
Yeah.
find out what role you played in it, fix that so it never happens again, observe it for what it is. What's the upside? What's the downside? If there's no real upside and it's
Mhm.
all downside, and the only reason that you're considering this downside is because of ego in here, that's I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So I didn't want to talk about the thing, but you're
Okay.
basically talking about the stuff that happened around Ransom, RJ Payne, Mickey, Lupe, basically. Is that more or less
Well,
what
that's kind of what I'm talking about, but I'm also
yeah.
talking about everything publicly that I went through. Everything, every public disagreement,
Okay.
every everything, all of that stuff. It was like a
Okay.
long period of time.
Right,
It was a
right.
long period, but my name was just associated with too much bullshit. stupid shit.
Right. So
You
you
know,
might all the things then. Yeah, yeah.
everything, everything. I don't like none of it.
Some of this is pre-internet, but most of it is during the internet, but maybe like pre-social media even. So technology
Well, I
played,
went,
huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The pandemic was the catalyst for it all, because
Right.
everybody was just kind of stuck. It was almost like being in jail with a bunch of rappers, and everybody's dealing with being locked down their own way. Everybody's making their own adjustments, so everybody's on edge. Everybody is, like taking shit the wrong way. Everybody is like not understanding somebody else's humor. Everybody is like kind of getting to kind of know everybody, and everybody's making their adjustments while they're dealing with being basically in solitary confinement with other people who
Yeah.
are looking at the same things as them on a day-to-day basis. And then, at the same time, the police are fucking beheading black people at every stoplight every other day, right before our eyes. There's footage of every one of them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, no justice being served, people marching, shit burning up, Trump running the country like a strip club. It was just a mess. It was
Yeah.
a mess. You know what I mean? And I think it affected all of us. It affected all of us. So just everything being on edge like that, I just don't think we made those adjustments real that well.
Yeah.
If we're looking at it from the standpoint of the kids that's watching us and
Right.
the responsibility that we have, um, there's always that one kid who looks up to you. I don't care how big your fan base is. There's always that one kid who would do anything that you advise them to do. That's how much they look up to you, and they trust your wisdom.
Yeah.
So with me, my actions and my words have to match, because it's a pet peeve for me when
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with somebody and I get an idea of who they are based off of what they're presenting to me.
Right.
And then you next thing you know, there's an action on your side that doesn't really match up to what I thought you were or what we were.
Right.
And it's kind of like a letdown. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, okay, I have my guard down. Now I got to put my guard back up. You know what I mean? Like, it's for reasons outside of my control. It's based on some assumption or some, you know what I mean? It just makes
Yeah.
you, it disappoints you, but it just makes you want to be a better communicator.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, because like, okay, if this can happen over here, what kind of jeopardy am I in? What's the kind of jeopardy could I possibly run into or put myself in my real relationship
Right.
at home?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay, let me make sure. Let me make sure that the people that I have around me, who I hold to a standard, let me be a little more intentional with the way that I continue to nurture these relationships, because now I'm seeing how important it is to have communication in a relationship when you're building one. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like if motherfuckers is willing to walk away from 25% ownership of something so valuable and destroy it
Right.
because of ego or because of lack of communication, that tells you everything that you should feel that you need to know right there.
Yeah.
Like, yo, man, yo, if that's what we're dealing with in this world, then we have to be careful in any relationship.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to come with more I'm sorry's, more thank yous, more gratitude. You know what I mean? Like more clarity, more just not taking for granted the relationship. You know,
Yeah.
I,
No.
I don't I don't like feeling like I got taken for granted, and I don't like the thought of anybody feeling like I took them for granted. I don't
Yeah.
like losing people.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I honestly can say, man, and I don't want to, I can, I'd say this as a fan observing. There was that one side of me that was like, yeah, let's get it on. But then there was the other side of me that was like, damn, we really lost something that was in motion. We lost ultimately. We lost. It might have seemed like we missed battle royale or whatever, but we actually lost some real brotherhood. At least that's how I saw it. Some real brotherhood that was forming in our face and in front of us. And I mean, I'll say it. I used to love hearing Ransom. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't even know if anything happened between Ransom and RJ Payne, but I used to love hearing them together.
Yeah.
I ain't heard them together since. And I'm like, what happened? Like, and again, this is just as a fan. Not,
Mhm.
I haven't asked RJ, I haven't hit ransom. I'm not asking any questions. I'm just looking at it as a fan.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. I feel like, and ransom, and they haven't stopped. You know what I mean? Like they still out there killing shit. I think it's just when
Separate.
everybody's looking at them separate, it's just different.
Yes,
Just
it's
different.
very
Now,
different.
I'm one of those people who I benefited a lot off of collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about a guy who was against collaborating at that time. Like when I jumped on that song, that Slaughterhouse song with Joe, me and Joe didn't even like each other, man. You know that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it was like I didn't want to do it. I said no. Kino talked me into it.
Right. Right.
Talked me into it. So, but I mean, my initial reaction to it was no, because I was stuck in my ways. So I had to come out of my comfort zone just to even go do the verse for him.
Right.
When I did that, I went against my better judgment, what I thought was my better judgment at the time. And I realized that, like, shit, how many other times could I have been wrong where I just went with what I think? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it opened up my mind a little bit more to just the possibilities of the good that can come from collaborating, but not just collaborating, but collaborating with people who are not necessarily like you. Joe's not like me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we both knew that we were different from each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like with Lupe, that's what made me reach out to Lupe. I know he's not like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because of their Joe's gift and Lupe's gift is like the equalizer. That's the one thing we share that we have in common that trumps everything that we disagree on.
Right.
You know what I mean? My relationship with Joe is like a get to know him and love him for life type situation.
Mhm.
Never knew you could love somebody like him like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like all of the quote unquote bad things are kind of like right in front of you, and you
Right.
kind of use that. You kind of use that as a means, as a vehicle to prejudge for prejudgment.
Yeah.
Then when you get to know the man, it's kind of like, oh man, I was wrong about this guy.
Right.
So same with Mr. Porter. I never who would have ever thought that me and him would become so tight.
Yeah.
We never had the opportunity to build a relationship in that way.
Right.
You know?
Definitely.
I mean, I didn't just go around beefing with people and get into a whole bunch of shit and bleed my blood on the streets
Uh-huh.
for the name of hip hop to not learn any lessons from it,
Yeah.
to not take anything from it. You know what I mean? It's like it's nothing has really come from me having a reputation for being a tough guy. Nothing good has really come from that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like you get to a point in life where it's just like you look at it in retrospect and be like, yo, man, it never really was about that shit at all. Never was about that shit. Never
Yeah.
was about being a fucking tough guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's hard to explain that to somebody when you're not trying to really bring that into the relationship at all, and it just keeps on rearing its ugly face into the relationship at different moments, because I think we are kind of like programmed to prejudge each other. So like you walking into different relationships that you try to build with a level of prejudgment there already. And it's all just based off your assumptions. You assuming that you need to holler at me when you lose your temper.
Right.
You know, because when you assuming that you need to holler at me when you get mad, then you're basically implying that you holler at all your friends. You don't.
Mm.
So don't holler at me.
Right.
But you think that that's how I communicate because I'm supposed to be known as a tough guy. Really, you have no idea who you're talking to. I
Yeah.
holler at nobody.
Right.
Nobody hollers at me. I don't like that. I'm triggered by that. My
Yeah.
dad grew up with a dad who hollered at me all the time. That's like I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But how do you explain that to somebody who already has their mind made up? Like so you build relationships with those kind of people. You,
Yeah.
you take it a step at a time and you do it delicately. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to offend nobody.
Right.
And sometimes I don't know if people can really wrap their brain around like the concept of offending people by things that are just naturally you, that the intention behind it is not to offend you, but you
Mm-hmm.
automatically take it that way because in your mind, you think that he's the kind of person who's going to come in here and try to offend you, sneak and offend you, sneaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna lie. He's gonna make up this, make it look like that. And it's just like, bro, I don't lie.
Right.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
Right.
Like I do feel I'm a tough guy, but I'm not gonna I'll come around you and tell you if I'm gonna insult you, I'm gonna insult you. You're not gonna have to think about it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a subliminal guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna tell you how I feel, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man, but you said that one line, and Lupe don't got no kids, so I figure I got kids. So maybe you think maybe, you know what I'm saying? Bro,
Right.
it ain't an equation.
Yeah.
It's not a math equation. It's not Chinese arithmetic. If I'm talking about you, I'm gonna say you.
Yeah.
If you got to think about it, then I didn't. Not only was I not talking about you, but I wasn't thinking about you. You know what I mean? But us as the MCs, we have all kind of different pictures and shapes and colors and shit in our minds, and we kind of see the world how we see the world. Some of us can coexist with each other, some of us can't.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the unfortunate part. But
Yeah. It's like this comic book back in the day. It was called Contest of Champions. And it was a long time ago, but it basically some super godlike supervillain put all the superheroes in one room and they had to compete. And so you might have the Hulk who don't like the Thing, or you know what I mean, but they literally are all in this room. And that's kind of what stuff and what hip hop reminds me of now. Even though we're not literally in a room, we're all connected through these platforms. And then you also have the fans who are now, cheering on the side or hooting and hollering or whatever. Sometimes it might just be a little comment by maybe a rapper that's not even involved, and they might get involved just by one little mini comment, and then
yeah,
that turns into another thing. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know what to call it, man, but it's a free for all now, man. It's kind of crazy.
the fans are sitting and watching all the superheroes in the room, and you got some of them who are there rooting for all the superheroes to come together and change the world and save the world. And then you got some fans that are just there like, nah, we want to be entertained.
Yeah, yeah,
How to
yeah,
fight each other. I want y'all to fight each other. I want to go, well, you know what I mean? I don't fuck the world. I don't care about saving the world. I
yeah.
want to be entertained now.
Right.
That's more entertaining. It's instant gratification. I want instant gratification. Somebody punch somebody in the face.
Yeah,
Don't
that's a
care about
fact.
you saving the world. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and with 50 years of hip hop, it's kind of like, all right, we seen that.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
we going with it now? Like, what's next? Because we losing control on every level, really. You know,
yeah.
so
I,
entertainment is cool, man. But I mean, right now, these kids dying is entertainment. The
yeah,
kid you just mentioned, BTB Savage,
yeah,
which I never heard of him before that day. I ended up looking it up, like, oh wow, he just 2 hours ago he did a picture, and then he did a Vlad interview. And his girlfriend shot him. Nah, his girlfriend didn't shoot him. He shot him. They tried to rob his girl. All these. It's a story, and I never heard of him.
yeah,
And now he's some. I know a lot about him now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's very sad, man. It is kind of tragic to see that our existence, whether it be a battle, a rap battle, or someone getting murdered,
mhm,
now turning into entertainment. And that's
yeah,
it. Cause ain't nobody shed a tear for homie. In fact, if you looked at under the comments, some of the replies would be a video like, yeah, he effed around and he found out, or
yeah,
or maybe there's a gif or a
mhm,
video or something. It wasn't sad. It was like, oh, let me be as witty as possible under this murder
yeah.
post.
It was in my opinion, it was an inviting in of an energy.
That's
He
a
took
fact.
it. He took a picture standing in the man's blood.
That's a fact.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Oh, he
it's
invited the energy. No, there's no questioning.
the fact that he felt like he needed to do that, man. Like it's just that's what breaks my heart. Like it's like because I watched his mom's interview too,
Okay.
The new one was his mom, and then the picture that they were using of him
In
was
the
a picture of
military.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, though. I'm sorry.
I was just about to say you just said it. The military. It's a picture of him in the military, no facial hair.
Right.
He just looked like a great kid, man. Like a great kid with great potential. But I'm glad that they used that picture because I think that picture speaks to the intention behind that went into raising him. Like his mom, like a lot of guys, a lot of people think that these guys are they come from such fucked up worlds that the intention behind everything that is them is for them to be fucked up.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what his mom wanted for him.
Right.
Not if she sent him to the military.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? So I'm sure he came back with a certain level of discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
he fell into whatever the temptations were in the environment,
Yeah.
and add that with a little music and a little lean or whatever these kids are doing now, and some really bad decisions are getting made, and it's costing us. It's costing us.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so it's
Man.
unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Man, Royce, on that note, I'm gonna stop this interview. I'm gonna stop this interview on that note, but I gotta get you in the studio, man, for like a podcast with us. We really want to see you again, man. So we got to
Yeah,
get you back in the studio. And All Hip Hop's got a documentary coming out. Well, it's a docu-series. It's a 4-part docu-series. And
mm-hmm.
you're on our list to,
Okay.
people to interview and stuff. So we definitely want to have you involved, man.
Let's make it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the consideration.
No, of course, man. 25 years of All Hip Hop. You've been a part of a couple of those situations that we've experienced, but also just, you realize, we're all growing together. Like, when I first met Ice-T, he didn't have gray hair. You know what I'm saying? He just
Mm-hmm.
started Law and Order. You know what I mean? And I'm like looking now, he's like 65. I'm still, 20 something. Jokes. But nah, seriously, I'm like, wow, I've been in his house. I know this guy. Like, I kind of know this guy, like, just a little bit. So,
I think him
huh?
being 65, that's an eye opener. Because I
Yeah, it
seen
is.
a recent interview that he did. I believe it was Big Boy's Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Boy's Neighborhood. He did an interview and he said that he was 65, and I was like, wow, okay. So
He
damn.
said it.
So let me change around some thoughts that I had in my mind because
Yep.
like previously my idea of myself at 65 was like much older than what he's presenting.
Yeah.
Um, he don't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. So that tells me that I'm gonna need to live to about 100. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need to live to about 100 because I don't think I'm gonna be thinking about retirement until at least 75.
Right. Yeah. Well, look, Ice-T got a rock album he's working on. He got a hip hop album. He literally called Slick Rick out saying, "I'm going for the storytelling crown on my next hip hop album."
Yep.
I think it might be a compilation album. I'm not sure, but regardless, the energy
Yeah.
is the energy.
The great part about that is it's gonna be whatever he wants it to be.
That's a fact.
The
Yeah,
great part.
yeah, man. Yeah, salute Ice-T. He's in the documentary too, definitely.
Of course
Man,
he is.
yo, yeah, of course. Yo, man, Royce, I appreciate you, man. It was a pleasure. Yo, I was tired today, man. I ain't gonna lie. I woke up from a nap. I said, all right, let me do this interview. But I'm glad we made it happen, man. Definitely. And
Okay.
congratulations on the Heaven experience, man. This type of
Thank you.
evolution is dope, man. I've talked to Kino a bit about it. Maybe, the collaboration, things of that sort, seeing what's possible and making some other things happen. So we'll
I
definitely,
always look forward to it, man. Always an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you, big bro.
yeah. All right, man.
Respect.
Salute you. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk
Yes.
soon. All right.
Okay.
Peace.